Hey indie game fans! It is a very exciting time of year since December is traditionally where Game of the Year awards get handed out. We can also look forward to the coming year in gaming and get excited all over again. I love covering pixel art games since the medium is an art form that is so versatile and has a unique feel which I really love. Kinda goes hand in hand with indie gaming. Special shout out as always goes to the previously covered Blasphemous, a visceral 2D action platformer which should hit next year as well. Moving on, here are the top 10 best upcoming pixel art indie games for 2019 and beyond. I first came upon .age on Twitter and simply thought to myself that this is Old Man Yells at Cloud exemplified, but upon digging a little deeper, I was super intrigued by the roguelike turn-based village builder. As a general rule of thumb, I always like to check out city builders, stemming back to Zoo Tycoon and even way back to ActRaiser, so this was a no-brainer to put on this list. Build up your town, research new buildings, assign villagers to work, and fend off fires, diseases, weather, natural disasters, taxes, murders, and more in order to reach the end of these trying times and to fend off the apocalypse. Bushiden is an action platformer with Metroidvania-style elements with a focus on melee combat and exploration. It was successfully kickstarted in October this year and is currently in development. Playing as the last member of an ancient ninja clan, having to save your sister and to defeat the diabolical enemy and his cybergenetic army, Bushiden certainly has that old school charm of something like a classic Ninja Gaiden game. Now the Kickstarter page states Metroidvania inspired, which is true since it is split into distinct levels, but there are also unlockable travel and combat abilities. I really like the retro look of this, but unfortunately for us, this should be a 2020 or later product.
For as long as we could remember, this is how it has always been. Devotion is taught through suffering, drawn to the divine light like moths. Sinners will relentlessly advance.
Dark Devotion is another Kickstarter project, this time successfully funded in October 2017, and is a 2D Souls-like RPG with of course fantastic pixel art. It is a great time to be a fan of Dark Souls, with many developers having been influenced by it, with this and the aforementioned Blasphemous being two standout titles. While games like Death's Gambit and Unworthy were prominent in 2018, 2019 looks to have even more of these experiences. The animations in Dark Devotion are a standout, and I especially love how the flames from your sword are animated, so very excited for this one.
All of us.
Flynn, Son of Crimson perhaps tops my list of my most anticipated games for 2019, since it is A. a Metroidvania, and B. features great pixel art. I played the demo of this on the channel a little while back, and loved the feeling of its controls, which are tight and responsive. The control scheme makes total sense, such as holding up while attacking causes you to swing upwards, and the multitude of weapons, from axes to claws, change up the gameplay. While visually not as unique or gloomy as something like Hollow Knight, I do believe that this game will have something very special to offer to all of us in 2019. Sea Salt is an action strategy game with a distinctly Lovecraftian theme in which you control a horde of monsters with the objective of hunting down the High Bishop. While the works of H.P. Lovecraft are now in the public domain and hence we see quite a number of developers using it, there's just something uniquely squelchy and visceral about Sea Salt. Tales of the Neon Sea is a mystery game in a cyberpunk setting which features stunningly detailed pixel art. I like the use of colours, and the environments are just so richly filled with a ton of stuff. The cyberpunk theme adds even more possibilities, from sentient robots to possible cyborgs and augmented humans. However, I'm not too sure what kind of game this is. From the trailer, it appears to be some sort of puzzle adventure, so we have to wait for more details. Speaking of cyberpunk, The Last Night was last seen at Microsoft's E3 2018 press conference and made a tremendous splash there then for what else but its gorgeous pixel art. Being described as a cinematic platformer, I'm not sure how deep the gameplay mechanics are, but to be able to experience such a vibrant and well-designed world will certainly be a highlight. The Treehouse Man sports a haunting, almost limbo-like art style, but not as blurry, and I love the use of colours and silhouettes. The gameplay is also fairly interesting since it combines platforming with elements of bullet hells. Think Undertale, but a platformer, which is a very interesting mix. There's customization of your boat, choosing party members, different weapons, upgrades, etc., all wrapped up in an almost ethereal, dreamlike quality.
When balance turns into chaos, someone must react.
An action platformer with RPG elements, Warlocks 2 God Slayers stands out for its environments and characters, with some very unique attacks and enemies. A weird mix of past and future, of modern and fantasy, it doesn't appear to have a very consistent theme, but that may just be the point. Featuring co-op for up to 4 players, procedurally generated side missions and even loot, this could be a side-scrolling action game with some longevity.
They are Warlocks 2, God Slayers.
Finally, Wildfire is a stealth game with elements of an immersive sim, with the main draw, of course, being that everything burns. In a world where magic has disappeared, you have been branded as a witch by people who fear your powers and hence are on the run, wanting to rescue your fellow villagers and to reclaim your home. A 2D stealth game is an interesting choice and has been very well done before in Mark of the Ninja. However, Wildfire expands your options by adding in elemental control, so burn stuff, freeze water, grow new vines to climb, or new grass to hide in. Games with multiple solutions are always fun, so I can't wait to see what this holds. For more upcoming indie games, check out the previous video or click on the playlist and I will see you after the jump.